When he has one more year left on his deal and you cannot get to the finals, I say fucking shit Matthews out, man.
The adjustment for Mitch is going to be, there's going to be way less pressure on it.
Welcome to the Checking From Behind podcast. I'm your host, Zach, as always, joined by my co-host, Preston. Each week, we're inching closer and closer and closer to training camp.
We're almost there.
I do want to start off this episode, though, with Micah fucking Parsons got traded after he requested a trade a month ago, and Jerry Jones said he wasn't worried. And here he is getting traded to the Green Bay Packers out of all teams, a team that 2 seasons ago, killed the Cowboys when they were the second seed.
Oh, they exposed them. Yeah.
Nuts. Micah Parsons for only 2 firsts and Kenny Clark.
Well, the crazy thing is after that game, he made Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
I still can't believe he got traded. You trade Luka and Micah Parsons in the span of like 6-7 months. Absolutely nuts. I feel bad for Dallas fans.
I don't.
Okay, I get you don't. And then the Dallas Stars get knocked out in the Western Conference Finals and get basically embarrassed. So, fuck off. It's crazy work. All right, you guys are here for a hockey talk, but that I just had to bring that up. That was absolutely
I still
insane.
say the Luka trade is way crazier than the Micah trade, though, because we didn't know Luka was even
available.
available.
That's true.
And the Lakers gave up even less, in my opinion, to get him.
They did, and the Mavs basically didn't. The GM didn't tell the owner that this was happening, and then on top of it, the Mavs made sure that it didn't get leaked out, or else other teams would have called.
They might have got more for him. What?
Collusion? People still think it was collusion.
Got to keep the Lakers competitive, right?
And then they get the first overall pick. Get Cooper Flag.
Well, that was ridiculous. That was fucking ridiculous.
When that happened, I think people were more shocked that Luka got traded than Micah Parsons, because at least Micah, he requested a trade. He wanted a new contract.
He made a deal with the commissioners. Like, hey, we need to get the ratings up, buddy. Trade Luka to LA. He's like, why? I'll give you Cooper Flag. He's like, okay.
That's probably what happened.
And you get Anthony Davis.
Yeah, and then Anthony Davis got hurt 3 games in.
Too much basketball going on.
Whatever. All right, so let's hop into some of our quick hitters. McDavid, he had like some little press conference or whatever, presser.
Canada,
Yeah, and so according to the Too Much Hockey podcast, which by the way they broke the Draisaitl extension, McDavid could sign a contract by training camp, looking around $4 by $16-ish million. However, though, McDavid did say he is in no rush to get something done.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I think I said this last week or the week before, until this is done, get ready to hear nonstop talk about fucking McDavid. It's the biggest storyline going into the season, I think, by far. It's not even close.
Yeah.
We're going to keep talking about it probably every week until something gives. I do kind of agree that I think there's a really good chance a deal could get done at training camp. I don't think McDavid's going to force anything. I think it's going to take an offer that's going to have to kind of blow him away to kind of say, okay, let's do it. I think he genuinely wants to see how the team is.
I would expect him to sign one probably by training camp. If it is going to happen, I do like the shorter-term deal. I know Leon signed a 7 or 8 year contract extension, but he's not Draisaitl, though. McDavid, he obviously knows he's good enough to be the best player on a Stanley Cup winning team, and just making it back-to-back years has not been able to pull through. And I don't know, maybe the Oilers aren't good enough to win a cup with the big three. And
I don't think it's them, though. I think the issue's always been their depth and their goaltending.
I thought their goaltending is a huge one. I thought the depth was good until they got really to the...
They disappeared in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
And, the goaltending was, I guess, good enough. But I don't think it, like, elevated the play at all.
No, the goaltending won't steal you games if you're the Oilers, but it definitely can lose you games, which is the huge reason on why they haven't been able to win a cup, genuinely, with McDavid. And I think that McDavid shouldn't be in a rush to get things done, because for all we know, maybe let's say he does do what you say, and he's going to wait until after this season to really hone in to see if he wants to sign an extension or if he wants to at least test the market, see what he's get over the market. And if Edmonton's like out in the first round or second round for some reason, which I don't think they will be, but just for this example, maybe McDavid sits there and is really contemplating, I want to win a cup. Don't know if we can do it in Edmonton.
My only issue with that is, like, he's going to cost an arm and a leg, no matter whether he stays in Edmonton or he's a free agent. He get more on the open market just because he's available and teams are going to offer him whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, I just have to be honest about this. Like, how many teams will he be able to go to at the salary cap he's expected to receive and still have the team be able to be competitive? You know what I mean?
There might be probably 3 teams, 4 teams.
And they're probably not very good right now.
They're probably all San Jose, Chicago, Anaheim.
And Columbus, I think, would be a fit. But
Depending on Carolina, like I know they have a ton of cap too. But I mean, what does it look like long term with all of their guys either needing extensions soon or already did sign some?
It's a tough situation to be in. And, the Oilers already have two really high other cap hit players in Draisaitl and Bouchard, and even Darnell Nurse, I'll throw him in there. But I mean, I know the cap's going up. Everyone's going to keep saying the cap's going up. But even so, like, if McDavid got to the open market, I think he get offers like $17 million a season.
I think there would be a team or 2 or 3 plus that would offer him 20% of the cap, which is, by the way, guys, the highest you can offer one player. So I don't doubt that he would get $17-18 million. And
not even that many teams carry that much cap space, so it'd have to be a bottom feeder. And maybe he's from the perspective of, well, they have a bunch of young guys. Maybe I can go in there and elevate them and make them contenders, and he views that as a better solution long term than sticking around in Edmonton, where they keep throwing stuff at the wall and none of it sticks.
Well, a thing that might catch my eye is you look at a team like Anaheim, for example, where they have a bunch of young guys up front and on the back end, and they have Lucas Stolstol, and maybe McDavid looks at that. It's like, listen, I'm in California. The Ducks have a bunch of young talent coming up through the pipeline and on the roster.
I mean, I'd like to say I don't think McDavid cares about the market he's in. I think he just wants to go over where he can win.
But I mean, Anaheim, like, if you're talking about just future base, I think they have one of the better futures in the league if everything pans out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And another team I mentioned, I think Columbus would be a really good fit for that, for him as well. They have a bunch of young guys coming up. They haven't figured out a long-term goalie yet, not like Anaheim has with Dostal. They still have Elvis and Columbus, who is probably in the same sphere as Stuart Skinner, probably a little bit worse.
I'm going to bring something up here real quick according to cap wages. So just the Edmonton Oilers going into the 26-27 season, which would be McDavid's new contract. If McDavid were to sign a $16.3 million contract and all their UFAs and RFAs re-signed for whatever is projected, they would be $4 million over the cap limit. So I know that's just projections, but still, though, like that's how much of a difference McDavid's going to make against a cap for 99% of teams in the league, if not 100% of teams in the league. Like, it's just genuinely, like, I wish I was able to go through here and, like, had the time to go through to be like, which team would actually, with McDavid, have enough cap space?
I still think he stays in Edmonton. I think this is all going to be in for nothing. I think it will be a shorter term deal, like 3 or 4 years, and we'll have this drama all again then. But I think right now, I think his best case scenario is to stay where, you've already been in the Stanley Cup final twice with this team. And I honestly really do think the thing that is holding them back is getting a goaltender. I know those are really hard to find, especially in the open. Like, they very rarely become available in a trade, almost never become available in free agency because every team locks up. Even good backup goalies get locked up. Yeah,
you look at a bunch of goaltenders. They either get locked up long term, or you get the good backups off the market right away, or if they already have a good backup, extend them right away.
Last year, Jacob Markstrom was available, but Edmonton couldn't afford him.
No.
They had no cap space, and they didn't have the draft assets to give up.
Same thing with John Gibson, who got shipped off to Detroit in the Eastern Conference. And I know we talked about it a couple episodes ago where the Oilers, they inquired on Kosa and Augustine from Detroit, but Detroit's like, we want a fucking haul. That includes your best prospect, which you just traded for in Isaac Howard. And the Oilers are like, yeah, I don't know about that. So it's going to be hard to trade for any goaltender. Any goaltender is going to have a big price if you want to trade for them.
Yeah, it's just A, they don't have a lot of cap space, and B, they don't really have a lot of draft capital. They don't have a big prospect pool because, when you have a guy like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, you have to be all in every year.
Yeah, it's not like I want to.
It's kind of a gift and a curse at the same time where, you have all these amazing players, right? But it's really hard to put those finishing pieces in to complete the puzzle. Like Pittsburgh had an issue with it for a while. Yeah, I know they won that cup early in 2008 with Crosby and Malkin, but it was a good mix of guys they drafted, and they found the right vets and made the right smart trades. But they also had a franchise goaltender in Marc-Andre Fleury.
It happened with the Tampa Bay Lightning, too. They got to the finals in 2015. Ben Bishop was there, but guess what? They had Andre Vasilevsky, and they had their core pieces that were super young in place.
And they complemented it with the right veterans
Yep.
bringing in. Like Ryan McDonough was instrumental. They made really smart trades. And yeah, like they had a franchise goaltender. I mean, you look at almost all of these teams. Like the Panthers are a bit different case where they kind of made a bunch of trades, but they made smart trades. They made calculated moves. And they were very smart at managing their assets.
Yeah, and for one of the rare times a goaltender hit the open market, and guess what? They gave him $10 million. It didn't start off great, but now it's back-to-back Cup champs. So,
Well, yeah, it's about building the right team around him. Like I said, the hardest part is sometimes just finding the goalie because they don't become available very often.
it's so hard, especially like maybe like 10 years ago too. Like you had to draft a good goaltender. You might have to reach in a draft for a goaltender if you think he's the guy.
They also take years to develop. It's not like there's not many goaltenders nowadays. Very rarely does this happen where they get drafted and they're in the NHL within a year or two.
The last goaltender that did it, I think, was Fleury.
Well, I think he was right out of the draft. Yeah, like there's been a few players that like come into the NHL relatively quickly after getting drafted. Like one that comes to mind recently is like Devin Levi. Probably wasn't ready.
No.
But most of the time the goalies aren't going to be ready. It's very rare to find a goalie that's going to be available right away. But one thought that just popped in my head when you mentioned Sergei Bobrovsky is he's a UFA next year.
Oh,
I know, I know he's getting older, but he's better than Stuart Skinner.
And you want to know who the Panthers just traded for too? Tarasov, who is a 26-year-old.
Well, when Bill Zito was in Columbus, he was part of the. He was really adamant about bringing in Tarasov's kind of Zito's guy.
Yeah.
And maybe they want to see how he does, as Bobrovsky's back up this year, see how he develops. And, I think he does have some good upside. I mean, I still, if I'm Florida, I wouldn't, not when you're in the Stanley Cup window, would I feel comfortable having Tarasov be my starter next year?
That would be a high risk, low reward type shit.
I mean, I think their core in front of him would be good enough to kind of make up for it, but you still don't want to really jeopardize anything like that because Florida is going to be really good for the next 3 or 4 years, and it wouldn't shock me if they give Bobrovsky a short-term deal and he just sticks around there where he knows he's going to win every year.
Not only that, but also a short-term deal and also like a fucking $6 million contract. Like,
yeah, he's not going to get $10 million again.
No, like we talked about Florida. Well, everybody talked about Florida about how they're going to retain their 3 guys that they just re-signed over the summer. And everybody was like, how did they do it? They find a way because you know what? The players took discounts. And guess what? Bobrovsky will take a discount to stay in Florida. But if he does hit the open market, I think you're 100% correct. Edmonton has to go basically almost all out to go and get Bobrovsky whatever they have.
There are going to be some interesting goalies available next year. Like Philip Gustafsson is a UFA.
Philip Gustafsson's a UFA next year?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
I think Minnesota is going to try to get him locked up as soon as they can. We mentioned Sergei Bobrovsky. Stuart Skinner is also going to be UFA. Jacob Markstrom be UFA. Anthony Stolars. And, I think maybe this is probably the most realistic route I see Edmonton going down is a guy like Frederik Anderson.
Yeah. I don't, especially if, oh my God, who's
That's if he leaves Carolina, which I do think Anderson's getting to that point now where, he's 35 years old. If he continues to play, he'll probably be on a year-by-year basis. If Carolina keeps offering contracts, I find it hard to believe he'd want to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, especially he's been there for the last how many years now and settled down. And if Carolina's like, here's a 1x2 or something or 1x3, like.
I mean, I think he'd even be a good backup for them.
Yeah.
So, Edmonton's a really bad spot right now because I think they genuinely have the talent. They just don't have the right depth pieces to consistently show up, and they don't have the right goaltender. And I think McDavid knows that, and I think he really wants answers to how they plan to address that.
Like, this isn't the Edmonton Oilers would be in a much better spot for even McDavid if they had some like goaltender prospect that was developing in the system, but they don't even have that, which makes it even worse.
I mean, pretty much all through McDavid's tenure in Edmonton, it's kind of been bringing in guys and seeing how they were. I remember they had first traded for Cam Talbot when McDavid was really young, and he was great his first couple of years, and then they were playing him 65 games a year, and after his third year in Edmonton, he was like falling apart, literally falling apart, and they end up shipping it in. And then they bring in old man Mike Smith, and he was good enough for a few years, and then they ended up finding it actually what people thought was a gem in Stuart Skinner, and he's kind of stalled out.
Yeah, didn't they get him from Toronto or something like that?
No,
Or
they
am I
drafted
tripping?
Skinner.
Okay.
Yeah, and he actually he had to they had to call him up his rookie year, and he ended up playing really well, and he was a start. He was a finalist for Rookie of the Year that year. And people were like, "Oh, well, if Skinner develops into what we think he can be, the Edmonton might have just gotten a steal."
And Skinner, like, I'm sure pisses off Oilers fans because one night you'll be like, this is the Skinner we fucking want, like, night in
Well,
and
even
night
in the
out.
playoffs last year, man, like he'd have either a shutout or he's letting in 5 goals.
I remember, like, the first 2 rounds, he was either shutting the team out or he was allowing 5 goals. And he had, like, I think he had back-to-back shutouts.
Yeah,
Was it against Vegas or
Vegas.
LA? It was against Vegas.
I think Vegas scored in the first 3 or 4 games. I think they scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Stuart Skinner, like I still think he could be a good goaltender, but I don't know. 2 years in a row, Stanley Cup final. They were worse this year in the Stanley Cup final. Their depth kind of disappeared. I think their depth arguably got worse this summer, and yeah, it's just it's a tough situation to be in because you're so close, right? You're so close, and just to fall just a little bit short. And the thing is, they know what they need. They just cannot address it right now. They can't.
It's just they don't have the assets to. And I do want to point out before we move on that the Oilers have a first round pick in 27 to 28. Fucking shot both of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, if McDavid, you get McDavid signed, yeah, you trade all those picks away.
Dude, fuck. If you're in the Oilers' place, I promise you, fuck them picks. Keep McDavid. Fuck them picks to go out and get a
Well, you have
goaltender,
to because McDavid's getting close to 30, so is Draisaitl. I'm sure those guys are going to be really good in their mid 30s as well. But like, you only got so long.
Yeah, you have to go out and just address it, or McDavid.
And the thing though is like what kind of screws the Oilers is the rest of the league knows how desperate they are, and so when Edmonton calls, the price goes up. You're gonna have 2 teams calling for the same player, and like let's say it's Edmonton and I don't know, let's name a random team like St. Louis.
Okay.
So they're both calling about the same player. St. Louis, okay, want a second and a good prospect. Edmonton, we want a first and one of your top 3 prospects because they know Edmonton is that much more desperate.
Yes. St. Louis doesn't need to sit there and be like, yeah, it's like we need him. Edmonton.
Well, it's not necessarily just there's just an example.
Well, yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
I mean, teams around the league, they know what certain teams need and they'll drive up the price compared to another team that it might be, let's say, I don't know. Let's take the Ottawa trading for Jordan Spence, for example, right? Like a defenseman. So they only gave up a 3rd and a 6th for him. However, though, if a team, let's use Edmonton, for example, too. Let's say they need a defenseman badly. LA might be like, okay, we want a 1st round pick for a young defenseman here. And Ottawa's like, we'll give you a 3rd and a 6th. It's like, all right, here he is. Because Edmonton, not only are they in the same division, but, they needed more. So that's that. All right, let's hop over to some Vegas talk. Eichel could be looking at around $15 million on his next deal.
I think that's completely fair. I mean, Eichel has been exactly what as advertised has been. I think he's the best version of himself right now in Vegas. I don't really see any issues in this contract. I think honestly, once they get to training camp, they're seeing face to face. I think they get a deal done within a week of them reporting. Even before then, because I'm sure they're all in Vegas right now, skating and getting ready for the season.
Yeah,
these teams literally have to report in a couple of weeks. So,
which is absolutely insane. I'm so excited, but I think Vegas is gonna do 1,000% what it can to do to get Jack Eichel locked up. And I think if there's one player that you talked about in our last episode, 1,000% put your entire house on signing an extension, it is Jack Eichel.
Oh yeah, I mean I think he's extremely happy there. Vegas is extremely happy with him. There's no ill will, there's no second guessing. Yeah, they'll get the deal done. No one, literally, I don't think anybody is worried about this.
He's become one of the better 2-way players in the league too, which is absolutely insane. Hold on, I actually want to check something real quick. Oh, I have to sign it. Oops, no, I don't. Sorry. So I'm looking at Jack Eichel's raw analytics defensively
He's
Okay,
gotten a lot
never
better.
mind. I'm sorry. He was in the 19th percentile in defense, but he was in the 95th percentile in offense, and his faceoffs have been all right. So, I mean, you take what you can give. Like, Jack Eichel has been a phenomenal player. He set Vegas Golden Knights records in assists and points last season, and I think adding Mitch Marner on the wing to Jack Eichel, you could see a potential 100 point for each of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, because Mitch Marner, I would say, is more of a playmaker than a scorer,
Yeah.
and Eichel can do everything. I think the biggest thing is going to be finding a really good winger to pair with those two, a guy that could just shoot the puck, like maybe a guy. I think Pavel Dorofeyev, I
Yeah.
think would be a good fit there on that first line.
I know Barbashev was on the top
Barbashev,
line with Eichel.
he was good with Eichel. I think
Mhm.
he missed some time last year, a little bit of time with
Yeah.
injury. But yeah, I think it's really about just getting like a shooter on that line with him. I think Dorofeyev he had 35 goals last year. I think he'd fill in nicely on that first line.
He could get 40 goals this season if
Well,
he played
Eichel
with
and
both of them.
Marner feeding him, yeah.
Yeah, 40
Yeah.
goals easily, like
Yeah.
40 and 70 type shit.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Week 1 of the NFL season is right around the corner, and the energy is electric. Whether you're backing your squad or chasing that perfect parlay, now is the time to lock in. Ready for first touchdown fireworks? How about anytime TD rushes that keep your heart pounding? And don't forget live bets that ride every momentum shift. Because at DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. New to the game? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app or head to their website and use code THPN. Bet just $5 and you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. That's right, stream every game, every week, and never miss a moment. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for gambling problems. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. Must be at the age of 21 years or older. Age and eligibility vary by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after assurance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for details. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only. Auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. All right, quick timeout before we get back to the action. This episode is brought to you by W Energy. Listen, hockey's fast, and whether you're breaking down plays, yelling shoot from the couch, or just getting in a workout, you've got to stay sharp. That's where W comes in. Clean energy with zero sugar, no crash, no artificial flavors or dyes. Just 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving, about 2 cups of coffee's worth to keep you locked in and ready to go. Personally, I use W before the gym, on the ice, and even when prepping content for the pod. If you need that extra spark, whether you're grinding through work, lifting, or lacing up the skates, W's got you covered. Head over to W.GG and use code CFB Pod for 10% off your order. That's W.GG, code CFB Pod for 10% off your order. Fuel up, stay locked in, and let's get back to the episode. All right, so that's a little bit on Vegas. How about some news that actually came out? Of course, it happened the afternoon after we had to record early, but Marco Rossi ended up signing a $3 million deal, and of course, he's so an RFA for 1 more year after the contract. Lower money-wise, like there were reports coming out that as this was heating up, it looked like it was going to be a bridge deal. I was screaming to sign him long term, and I swear to everything the Wild are going to be paying for this. They're going to, after
They'll worry about it in 3 years.
I guess so.
I genuinely don't think they're worried about it right now.
No, of course, you want to get him on the ice because he's going to help your team, but I just genuinely think they're going to be paying him more than if they just locked him up now. And maybe that's just the Wild being skeptical.
That's the bet you take when you sign a guy to a bridge deal is, you want to make put the pressure on the player, and if he goes out and earns himself like a $10 million, $11 million a year contract, that's I think that's a good thing for the organization.
Of course, that's very. But I mean, you could have locked him up for 7 by even 6.5. 7.
I don't think they wanted to though.
No, they didn't want to. That's why they Bill Guerin and Marco Rossi, when they originally met, they last met before this contract got talked about. Before free agency, they didn't talk for a month and a half. And of course, as the season got closer, I don't know if it was Guerin or I don't know if it was Marco Rossi's party reaching out and be like, hey, we got training camp in 3 weeks. Like, let's just get something done. Get him on the ice, get him locked up. Marco Rossi wants to be here. Like, let's. Then the 3x5 happened, and I thought the money was as expected. There were multiple reports saying Rossi won a 7. Guerin won a 5. Neither side was budging.
I think Guerin got everything he wanted.
Of course. This is exactly the deal he wanted.
Yeah, he got everything he wanted. I think Rossi clearly made a lot of concessions in this deal. Because I think the biggest thing to me from Minnesota's perspective is you have bigger fish to fry right now. And the biggest fish to fry is getting Kirill Kaprizov signed long term. And I think what this does now is, because obviously Kaprizov's a guy you build your team around. And once you have that contract done, then you can worry about everybody else and how much money they get, because you have that foundational contract set in piece where you can build other guys around the money he's getting, right?
Now you know how much he's getting, rather than if for some reason it doesn't get done this summer, this training camp. It's not like, okay, we want to build around Kaprizov, but A, we don't know if he's staying. B, we don't know how much we're going to be paying him. So
because $5 million a year is nothing for a player like Rossi, I would say. And if Kaprizov ends up getting, let's say, $13-14 million a year on like a 7-year contract, 6-year contract, I don't think he'll do 8. I think
we're probably going to be looking at a 5 by 15.
Yeah, but then that gives you that flexibility to kind of plan everything else out. So that way, when you're looking to sign other guys to long-term contracts, I think Rossi might have gotten more money if Kaprizov had already been signed, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. This, maybe you're onto something. Maybe Bill Guerin's like, listen, we would love to do a 7 by 7. Not saying this to Rossi, but just internally and stuff. But like, we still have to get Kaprizov signed. Like, if Kaprizov's like, we want $15 million.
Or what if he walks?
Not only that, but like, let's say Kaprizov asks for $15 million. Now we gave an extra $2 million Rossi, where we could be giving it to Kaprizov, which is clearly a top 3 winger, arguably top 2 winger in the entire league. So yeah, you're running into barriers and shit. And if Kaprizov signed an extension in July, maybe we're looking at a 7 by 6 or 7 by 7 for Rossi. We don't know, because it never happened. It's just if, ands, or buts. So overall with Kaprizov, they haven't talked about anything yet, because obviously he's still in Russia. But the expectation is once he comes to training camp, they're going to be actually face-to-face with each other, him and his agent, with Bill Guerin.
Yeah, like I said, I think this contract, is a home run for the Wild organization. And yeah, just focus on getting Kaprizov signed. Now you have no other distractions. Bill Guerin can hone in just on getting that done.
Yes. And one final thing we're probably not going to spend a ton of time on, but Luke Hughes, we finally got some news out of that. We discussed this about a month ago or so. And the well-known about the contract was it was the term and it was the cap. Mainly the cap, that was the issue. And it did come out that it is the cap that is the issue. The Devils wanted to go between either a 3-year deal, or they want to do an 8-year max deal. Nothing in between, nothing shorter or whatever. However, though, Luke Hughes wants to do 5 years, because then it takes him up straight to UFA status. So the term seems to be a little bit of an issue. And in terms of the money-wise, it's not Luke Hughes is asking for 8, and the Devils want to give him 6. It's just straight up the Devils have $6 million in cap space.
Yeah, he's going to get more. He's going to get more than $6 million.
Yeah, and they're willing to give him the $7-8 million, but they just need to make it work somehow. It's more the term.
Yeah, they're going to have to make some kind of move to free up some cap space, because I'm just looking at some of their lower salary cap guys. Like, I mean, they just signed Evgeny Dodonov, same with Connor Brown. I mean, like, who do you move? Like, I know there was rumors that they were shopping Dougie Hamilton around, but I would say he's still too of an important player to kind of move on from.
And I think that it's still a year or two away from moving on from a guy like him, especially when you have Luke Hughes, who will kind of be a successor.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of look like maybe a guy like, Cody Glass, they end up moving on from, kind of like a bottom 6 kind of role player kind of guy, $2.5 million cap hit. That gives you the money now, because, I mean, next year it's a completely different story, because they'll have the cap space.
Yep.
But yeah, just right now, like, they literally can't get the cap hit underneath the salary.
Like, even if you just trade Cody Glass for like a mid-round pick, it's like, here's a cap dump. Like, nobody will fault you for it.
That's not me saying Cody Glass is a bad player at all. I'm just trying to look at someone who could be expendable on this team.
I know when we last talked about this, again, I brought up Stefan Noesen, who's 32 years old, and I think the Devils
That's another guy that, I forgot to mention
him.
Him.
I know he's a solid role player and depth player for the Devils, but you're going to have to make a hard decision. And honestly, I think those are 2 guys that you can that are expendable without taking a huge hit to your roster at this point.
I agree, but we'll see because it sucks because it doesn't sound like there's too much ill will in these contract negotiations. It sounds like both sides are kind of eager to get a deal done. It's just they literally cannot sign a contract right now. They can be over the cap right now for a little bit, but I don't know that when the deadline is, but they have to get under it soon.
I think it's by the first game of the regular season for the entire NHL.
Yeah, because there are a couple teams that are over the cap right now. Montreal and Florida. Montreal has not posted carry price on LTIR yet.
I don't think they can yet, which is why they haven't.
Yeah, but as soon as they're eligible, they'll have $6 million in cap space.
Yep.
So, and then Florida, they're $3 million over the cap space, and
I think they will throw Matt Tkachuk on LTIR
to start the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard he's going to be out until mid-January, so.
Wonder if he'll be ready for the Olympics.
I heard that that's the plan for him to be ready for the Olympics.
How pissed do you think Florida would be if he got hurt in the international play
like
again?
Re-hurt?
Yeah, like he got hurt last year in the Four Nations face-off. He did, tough it out in the playoffs, but he needed surgery. Why did he wait so long to have surgery?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Did he was it like a last resort and nothing they else tried to do was working?
Like, did he try like PT after a celebration? Like, I don't know what. I don't know if he thought maybe he'd get better on his own and just never did. Like,
yeah, I don't know. We're not his doctors. We're not him. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It is kind of puzzling to me to get the surgery like late.
You would have thought like right after the finals.
I mean, he probably wanted to enjoy summer a little bit.
Yeah,
but
of course.
You just won your second Stanley Cup. Like you're on the cover of NHL. Like you're having the time of your life right now, buddy. Like go live it up a little bit. I get, but you still got a job, man. You still got to play hockey.
That's true. Like the celebration didn't take all summer. Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was. The Panthers were still celebrating 3 weeks after the Cup.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't they?
Marchand at the time of his life, he was. I'm assuming you saw a lot of the videos of Marchand.
Yeah.
And
he was tagging all the teams. Thank you for this guy. Yeah, that was great.
That's great. Let's hop into the main part of this episode. The biggest storylines heading into this NHL season. It was very tough coming up with a lot of this. I know we kind of touched on one of these here, but Marner's debut in a Vegas jersey. He returns to Toronto on January 7th, which I'm surprised that it's that long.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what goes into making the schedule, but no matter whether it was the home opener or the last game of the year, you're going to circle that in your calendar. That's going to be an emotional night for a lot of people. I don't know do you think they're going to give them the Boo Birds really that bad?
I think it'll probably be 60-40 in favor of Boos. I think Maple Leafs fans are fucking ruthless, dude. Did you hear about what Marner said just recently, like within the last day or so, about people would send death threats to Marner's family. Not him, but to his family and stuff. And I guess somebody leaked his address after the last game of this year's playoffs and was like posting on social media saying, here's Marner's address if you want to say goodbye. So, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, obviously if you don't feel safe wherever you are.
And obviously, by the way, I'm not saying all these fans are fucking just crazy. Like, it's 1% of the fan base.
It's the loud minority. Like, it's the crazy fucking people that are chronically online. Like, literally the Leafs are like their life. If the Leafs win, they have a reason to wake up the next morning.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this still doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't.
I think he'll be much more like low key in Vegas because Vegas is a very different city than Toronto. I mean, they like their hockey there in Vegas. The Knights are really popular, but they'll leave him alone.
Yes, they won't. They won't scrutinize him for every little mistake he does. And then if he does something great, it's like you're supposed to do that.
Yeah. I mean, he did have some pretty bonehead plays. Like,
of course.
The one that gets me all the time is it was in the playoffs this year in the second round where he just had that blind pass up the middle to Florida, and they just immediately score. And you're like, buddy, what are we doing?
Dude, he should have gotten an assist on that.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm excited to see him in a Vegas uniform. I might get crucified for that, but it's
going to be weird, man.
It is going to be weird, but it's more of me being a hockey fan being like, I'm excited to see him with Jack Eichel and the other
is it going to be that different than when he was playing with Matthews?
No, not really.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I think his assist mate might go down a little bit because he's not passing it to a sniper like Matthews.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to have a center.
I mean, Eichel could score, but not like Matthews. No one can score like Matthews.
No, but Eichel can do it all, though.
Yeah, but he's not Matthews.
No, nobody's like Matthews. I think this is the year that You might see Marner possibly break
I
the
think
career
I
high
think he'll
goals.
score more. Yeah, I think he'll definitely score more. I mean, because Eichel's more of a playmaker than Matthews. They're two pretty different players.
I think they'll definitely feed off of each other. And then of course like
I think there might be some rough patches where they get used to playing with each
Mhm.
other. I think that's the case with any like two superstar players like that. It will be interesting to see.
I could see a thing where early in the season you might see some like, oh my god, that was a ridiculous play, and then might see some miscommunications. Just like, we see the talent on full display, and then, it's like, oh, you expected one of them to
Well,
be there, and they
I
weren't.
think the biggest thing, the adjustment for Mitch is going to be there's going to be way less pressure on him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think there's pressure on Vegas as a whole because you get Mitch Marner and your Stanley Cup expectations. I think they had Stanley Cup expectations anyway, even without him. But now you add him to your team, and that just puts an even bigger magnifying glass on you. But I think the team around him knows how to handle it better. I think he'll have a better support system there.
Yeah.
Um, and the best part about Vegas is you can just go downtown one night, just forget about hockey for a little bit.
Dude, him and Jack Eichel and Mark Stone and whoever else fucking go downtown, just play in the casino for 6 hours. Like,
Because I mean, the thing with Vegas is they are kind of ruthless to how they treat guys when they don't want them there anymore.
mhm.
But when they want you there, they treat you like you're a king.
They treat you like royalty.
Yeah, like literally, they literally roll out the red carpet when you show up. Like when Mitch Marner
Yep.
got to Vegas to sign his contract.
They let your dad be
Well,
a
same thing
part
with
of the press
Eichel when he got
conference.
traded. Mark Stone.
Mhm.
They do what they literally roll out the red carpet and do whatever you want. And I think he's going to be. I think the biggest thing is he's going to be happy there, and it's going to take a little bit for him to realize like it's not just me.
Yeah, and plus management isn't going to sit here and put so much pressure. You're not going to have the media pressure, the fan pressure, and you'll have a bunch of guys like Jack Eichel and Mark Stone saying, just go fucking
Well,
play
the thing
hockey."
is, like the team around him's already won.
Yeah.
It's not a bunch of guys that have been stuck in a rut for like years in Toronto, where like they're in their own heads in the playoffs. Like they can never get over that hump. Vegas already won a Stanley Cup.
And you could tell there was frustration building over for the last like 2 years between the players themselves. And at some point,
Well,
it changed
yeah,
that didn't
because you know what the issue is. You
Yeah.
just can't resolve it.
Mhm.
That's frustrating. Like when you keep failing and you know why, and no matter what you do, you just can't figure it out.
Even if you feel like you're getting close, it just gets pulled back from you right away. And then it's like, what the fuck else were we supposed to do?
'Cause I'm gonna be honest with you. Florida should have beat. I mean, Toronto should have beat Florida.
Yes, they should have.
They blew that series. Easily blew that series. They had two really fucking bad games. They could have gone 3-0 in that series. They ended up blowing that game. But in game 4 and 5, and then they get completely blown out. I know game 5 they got massacred. Game 7
Yeah.
they also got killed.
Game 6, they ended up actually playing a good game.
They won 2-0. They shut them out. Yeah,
In Florida, I
they
think
played
it
like a
was, too.
perfect game.
And usually you think that on the road in Florida you play worse, but they got killed in their building games 5 and 7. Like we're talking about like
Oh, it was not. They
fucking-
were not competitive games.
not even close.
Game 7, I think, was over like halfway through the second period.
I think it was like 4-0.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then you brought up game 3 where a game goes to overtime. If you win that game, you're moving on. We're not talking about back-to-back Cup champs. I'm sorry. I mean, granted, if there is one team to blow 3-0 seriously, it is Toronto.
Oh, for
But
sure,
like,
for
so,
sure.
You would
Yeah,
have to lose 4 straight, and with that talent on the team,
and they almost
I
did
don't
it
think it's
against Ottawa.
Yeah, that's true. And then they realized that it was fucking Ottawa.
Yeah.
But I think again, I'm excited to see Marner with Eichel per se, and
Over under how many Marner jerseys you get thrown on the ice in Toronto? I'd say 7.
I like that number. I'm gonna go 5. I think
Okay,
there will be multiple jerseys.
I
thrown on
think
the
I
ice.
think there will be at least one
At
will be
least
thrown on the
one.
ice. Yeah,
If they haven't already been burned yet.
jerseys are expensive, man.
People don't care about that if they bought it 8 years ago.
I don't know, but I'm not. I'd rather throw it on the ice and prove a point than burn
me
it.
too. Me too. And nobody has the video or anything. I didn't take a video. Like
And then you get banned for the arena for the rest of your life and say, "I got banned because of that."
it's exhilarating, What the fuck? Yeah, but either way, I mean, I am excited to see how the Maple Leafs respond with Matthews, Nylander kind of being like, okay, Marner's gone now. Let's go out and win. And
I don't know. Like I'm trying to like my best to put myself in the headspace that maybe Matthews is in, and like all he just feels pressure, man.
I think there's nothing but pressure between those two, especially
Because I think Marner was the scapegoat
Mhm.
for a very long time there, and now he's gone.
And now guess who's going to be the scapegoat? Not
Because now,
Matthews.
I think there's going to be much less pressure on Tavares now because he's not getting paid that $11 million a year. He's more of like veteran leadership, good second line player, can play in the first line in a pinch. And now you got Matthews. He's the captain. Nylander. It's like, okay, we had the core four. Now we have you two.
Yeah. If Matthews goes out, plays a healthy season this season, and let's say he puts up 50 goals, right? I think he'll put up 60, but let's say 50 goals to play it safe.
Didn't he have like 40 something last year? And it was like a down
Like
year for
30
him.
something or
yeah,
40
he
something,
missed a
yeah.
lot of games though. But
Yeah, but let's say he scores 50 goals, and their first round exits. Now, guess who's not there to take the hit? Marner is. Guess who it's going to be? You score 50 goals in a regular season, can't score 3 in a 7-game series in the playoffs when it matters most. And then guess who's going to be sitting there? Fucking William Nylander, who, by the way, I'm not going to go on a rant. William Nylander never gets any fucking blame, and it pisses me off. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I don't mean to hate on William Nylander. I'm not going to do it. He's a phenomenal player offensively. That's all I'm going to say.
One more thing I want to say about the Maple Leafs, and we can move on if you want to, is I don't know if this might be a bit of a bold statement. If they don't get better this year, like I said, it might be a crazy hot take.
I know where you're going with this.
If they don't get over the hump this year, I don't think they ever win a Stanley Cup with Austin Matthews.
If they don't get how many years does he have left on his current deal? Is it 2 years after?
It's not even about.
No,
that.
I know. Hold on,
because to me,
I might say something crazy.
To me, it will signify that they simply cannot handle the pressure.
I agree with that. Okay, not Marner. Matthews has 2 more years left at 13.25. Okay, if their first round exits again this season, okay.
Well, if the first round exits, I think everyone's getting fired again.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, okay? Let's set the bar high here. You won't trade Matthews next season, but when he has 1 more year left on his deal and you cannot get to the finals, I say fucking shit Matthews out, man.
They're not trading Austin Matthews.
I'm probably
Unless
already
he
got
specifically
crucified.
tells the Maple Leafs, I am not re-signing. You either ride me out to the end of the season or I walk, then they might trade him. But unless he specifically tells them that is the case, they are not trading him.
Okay, I got some more realistic option here. You don't trade either him or Nylander. You have Matthew Nyes locked up. John Tavares is on a 4-year deal. He's not going to be traded. I do like the way that they did reconstruct the roster. Their depth is better. However, I do love their blue line and their goaltending is good.
Well, I think they really see Matty Nyes like kind of moving into that slot that Marner was filling.
Which I like that.
Yeah, he's just gotten nothing but better since he's gotten there.
Unless they face Florida, which they're going to have to,
You have to beat, if you want to win the Stanley Cup, you have to beat the Florida Panthers.
They can play anybody else and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. If the Panthers get knocked out in the first round for some astronomical reason this season, I think I will almost put all my chips in the Maple Leafs making the Eastern Conference Finals. But
they're boogeyman, man.
It is. Okay, let's move on. We talked about the Leafs long enough. Another storyline, the Sabres are looking to break a record 14-season playoff drought. This will always be a storyline until they get in. And you know something? You know how I'm feeling optimistic about this team? I don't have to make the playoffs in my prediction. How about our boy, Jay Fresh's fucking model?
He had it like 2 years ago, too.
Yeah, okay, but that's different, though, okay? 2 years ago, he was teasing, right? He was kidding. His model was like, yeah, you fucking thought. This season, though, he has them being a wild card team.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah,
I still, the Sabres are a team
that plays hockey.
They play hockey. Sometime they play hockey in the NHL.
They have guys on their team.
They have some really good players.
They do. Like
Tage Thompson, Rasmus Dahlin,
Owen Power.
They have some great players. Alex Tuck, but they are a team. I don't even know what to say anymore. We're both lifelong Sabres fans. I'm just tired. I'm so checked out on them. They pulled me back in a couple years ago when they almost made the playoffs, and then they ripped my heart out, stomped on it, set it on fire, and laughed while it was happening.
I look at the Sabres as, on paper, they're forward group It could be a little bit lackluster. It could be the average. I think their blue line could be underrated. I think it is underrated with that addition of Michael Kessering. Where I think the X factor comes in is goaltending. If Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen fucking takes 25 fucking shits like he did last season, the team is nowhere near the playoffs. But if he gets back to 23, 24 Luukkonen, where he had a 905, 910 save percentage above league average, goals against under 3, there is a world where this team barely sneaks in. However, though, I'm with you. I think myself, I'm not gonna take them to make the playoffs.
Well, let's take a look at like other wild card echelon teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Like Ottawa,
I think Ottawa's a better team.
Montreal.
I'm gonna go Buffalo here strictly because I don't know if Montebo.
You might get some haters in the comments.
Yeah, sorry.
Montebo's better than Luukkonen.
He is, but I don't see if Montebo gets hot again.
Columbus.
I think Buffalo is better than Columbus. Detroit. I think they're neck and neck. I think they are the same team.
The Rangers.
The Rangers are better strictly because they have a top 3 goal.
So you said two teams are definitely better.
Correct. Yeah, Rangers and Senators.
So do you think the Sabres can make the playoffs above those teams?
I think above the Senators, if everything went wrong for the Senators, yes. I have a lot of hope for the Rangers this year.
Because I truly believe that I think the Senators can compete for a top 3 spot in the Atlantic Division, but until they do, it's going to be Tampa, Toronto, and Florida.
I'm of the essence that I think that Ottawa can get the 3rd spot, but I'm also of the essence that they also have a very low floor. I think they have the high ceiling and a low floor, and I think the Rangers have a lower floor. Sorry.
The Rangers might be dog shit this year.
They're either going to be dog shit or they're going to be a top 3 team in the Metro.
Yeah, I mean, the Metro is not a good division. You have, Washington had a crazy season last year. I expect them to take a bit of a step back. But, Carolina, I think, is by far the best team in that division.
Yep.
The Devils, if they stay healthy, they'll be a top 3 team in that division. And then that 3rd spot, probably I'll slide in Washington for now. But I could see, I think if Columbus keeps getting better, I think they can sneak into that 3rd spot just because it's a pretty weak division.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? If Washington regresses like 25 points, Columbus could slide in at 92 points and take 3rd spot. Granted, they'd be first round exits, but they still get it.
But like back to Buffalo, like I just don't see them being better than teams like Ottawa. I think Detroit's better than them. I think Montreal's better than them. Like they'd have to jump over a lot of teams.
I think so Buffalo would need a lot of things to go to right? Josh Norris would have to be this guy that actually plays hockey.
I forget that Josh Norris is even on the fucking Sabres.
He played 2.5 games.
Yeah.
And then you need Jack Quinn to get better. Ryan McLeod would have to stay at 50 points. Tage Thompson, probably 50 goals. Jason Zucker, who, by the way, is 33 years old, would have to stay between 40 and 50 points.
He's good enough. Like, I think he's just a good locker room guy, good team guy. Like, that's why he's there. I mean, Zach Benson, I think, needs to start taking the next step. I think there's going to be pressure on Josh Stone to get better really quick, because
there's going to be pressure on 3 guys. Josh Stone, for sure, because he was part of the Paterka trade. Jack Quinn, because we've seen glimpses of it, but can he finally put it in the full 82-game season? And Zach Benson, because he's one of the better defenders in the entire league, but he has no finishing ability.
He's so unlucky, man. I can't tell you how many games I've seen him play where like he'll have a grade A scoring chance and he'll either get completely robbed or stick with a snap. Even on empty net goals, he had a chance to score an empty net goal to shoot his stick breaks right in half.
Hopefully that luck changes this year.
Maybe he changed stick manufacturers. I truly hope he did, because whoever was making sticks for him before
put on like a witch belt.
Or he's just using he's too strong for his stick.
Yeah.
It's too stiff.
He might be too strong. 5'9" guy fucking breaking his sticks.
Yeah, but I think Owen Power is going to keep getting better. I think Samuelson's kind of like the ugly duckling there on that blue line.
Yeah.
They'll probably slot it on that bottom pair with Connor Timmins.
I think Connor Timmins was a underrated ad. He can move the puck. He can move the puck. He can play some defense. I think Matthias Samuelsson might bring him down a little bit.
My biggest question with the Sabres is, when does Tage Thompson or Rasmus Dahlin ask for a trade?
That's crazy.
I hate saying that, but
I think it's more likely Tage does. I don't see a world where Dahlin requests a trade unless this team just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Then there's a possibility. Like, Dahlin has emphasized that he wants to be a part of the solution rather than sit here and be like,
That's
I want
all well and dandy, but then when you're like in your like, how old is Darlene now? He's
20
25 years old.
Mhm.
So like, let's say he's like 28 and he still hasn't played a playoff game. Like, okay, how much longer do I need to be a part of the solution? I've been here for 10 years and we haven't gotten better.
Only sniffed the playoffs once.
Because he started playing when he was 18. He's been in the league for a long time now, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a world where Donnelly requests a trade. Tage is a little bit different. And a comment that stuck out to me, not from Tage, but from his father after the World Championships, that was the first time that he saw Tage actually play smart, winning hockey when up by a goal. And he's been in the league since 2018.
Well, I
and
think
by
the pressure was a little bit different, yeah.
Of course, but also, like, basically, he wanted to spit in chicklets and said this, by the way, guys. Like, that was the first time that he saw Tage up by a goal.
Tage's dad on spitting chicklets?
I don't know. I don't know.
Where are they getting these guests from, man? I know it's the summer, but Jesus.
I don't know. Maybe they couldn't get Tage. Who knows? Or maybe Tage was on there. I don't know. I didn't listen or watch the episode. It was just a clip I saw on YouTube or TikTok. Crazy work. All right. Let's hop into another storyline. We all know Dallas ended up trading for Mikko Rantanen at the deadline. Did Dallas do the right move and go all out in acquiring Rantanen and on top of it signing him to an 8x12, $12.5 million contract? Because we look at some of their guys getting older, like Sagan, Ben, Duchesne. They're not going to be playing great hockey already. Sagan and Ben are already kind of declining. Duchesne had 82 points in 82 games.
I mean, Ben is like kind of like a bottom six guy now.
Yeah, and now you look at some of the younger guys, like Harley is going to need a contract very soon. Did they give Johnston a contract yet?
Oh, yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, he's locked up. This is the first year of his big boy contract, $8.4 million cap hit.
So you're already getting into some of the younger guys' contracts, man. And you have
Thomas
Stan
Harley's
Coleman.
going to get like a lot of money, though.
Dude, this might be this season.
If he like takes the next step again, like he has been, like he might get like 10 mil plus.
If he becomes a top 15 to 20 defenseman in the league, we're looking at 10 plus.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But I mean, like, I think their window's still open for 3 to 4 or 5
don't
years.
Get me wrong. Like, we're not saying they're bad. Like, they still have an outstanding roster. I think they're still one of the deeper teams in the league.
Yeah.
It's just that they've got most of their core guys locked up. So I think for the most part, minus like a few bottom six pieces, some, bottom pair defensemen, this is going to be the team in Dallas for a while.
Yep. They have all of their core locked up except Harley, basically, at this point.
Yeah.
And they have Jason Robertson, too, who I forgot to mention. RFA, he is arbitrational. I can't even say that fucking word.
Call me crazy. I think they trade him.
I'm calling you fucking crazy.
They almost traded him before.
I know, I'm calling you crazy. I think they can get a deal done. I truly think so. Unless they legitimately cannot agree on a single deal and Dallas is like, we just want to trade you. Like, I don't see a world where they can trade him, where they will.
I mean, no one saw a world where the Cowboys would trade Micah Parsons. But
he requested a trade, though. Jason Robertson's not going to request a trade. I know it doesn't matter, but Jerry Jones is a fucking
I request
idiot.
more money from work all the time. They tell me, no. Just because you request something doesn't mean you have to fucking grant it.
Yeah, but Jerry Jones sits here and is like, we'll trade him for 2 firsts and Kenny Clark and call it a day. Like, the Dallas Stars
But you know what I'm saying.
No, I know, but the Dallas Stars are not going to sit here and be like,
we know nothing, man.
You know what? At this point, Dallas is already on a fucking generational run trade.
Remember when Colorado even traded Rantanen for the first time, and everyone was like, "What?"
Well, that came out of nowhere.
But that's my point. Like he never asked for a trade.
Yeah,
Colorado just made the decision.
But Dallas is not going to trade Jason Robertson.
I didn't think Colorado was going to trade Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, but we could have looked at Minnesota trading Marco Rossi. He was almost traded. He didn't get traded. So it's the size of the bull story where they could be close to a deal.
But what I'm saying is, like you're saying, there's no possible way.
I don't think there's a way that they trade him. I think
all I'm saying is, I think there's always a chance, and these big trades prove that we know nothing.
There's a chance, a 0.1% chance.
There's a chance.
Yeah, I think they did do the right thing though, locking up Rantanen, trading Rantanen. They needed him. I guess I was gonna say necessarily didn't need him, but I mean everybody.
Let me ask you this: so after the second round, like we had he pretty much won them the first round.
Yeah, got them through the first half, second round.
What did he do after that?
He had 0 points in his last 8 games.
That's where I get concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know he's had a hectic year, but like he proved that he could be the guy, and then he just disappeared.
Yeah, I get the motivation going against the Colorado team and then carrying that momentum into the second round. But when Dallas needed you the most against the Oilers took him completely out of the entire series. Not just a couple games, the entire series.
I forgot that he was even playing.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was getting scoring chances and he was unlucky.
I'd be watching the game like, who's that 96 guy?
Dude, you'd be watching the game and half the time
I knew who Rantanen was.
But like, I get what you're saying though, is where you were watching the Western Conference Finals and you might randomly think of him as like, where has Rantanen been all game?
Well, you know, this just came up in my head. You know, I got a lot of vibes from the Dallas team this year that I got from the New York Rangers 2 years ago when they lost in the Eastern Conference Final to the Florida Panthers, where their big names just didn't exist. The goaltender played well, but they couldn't fucking score.
I hope you're not going where I think you're going with this and saying the Stars will miss the playoffs.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
I thought you were making that analogy for a second.
I'm just saying, like, it was a similar situation in New York where they were great.
Yeah.
And then the Stars couldn't step up when they really needed them to.
Jake Ottinger is only able to do so much. Even for the first half of the Colorado series, there was a game where I think Colorado had almost 50 shots on him.
I still can't believe that Peter DeBoer did what he did, though, to Jake Ottinger in the Western Conference Final. That was so fucked up.
The second that happened, that got him fired.
Oh,
and then you
lose the room.
And then you doubled down on it in the press conference.
He's been bad against Edmonton. It's like, those 2 goals weren't his fucking fault.
Why did you start him the entire series?
Yeah.
Those 2 goals were bullshit goals. And when those happened, that was just the kind of series it was like for Dallas.
Yeah.
That was just the way it was
keep your
going.
guy in because then that's how you lose the fucking locker room.
Like fucking, who even was their backup that came in? Hold on. It was Casey DeSmith. Is Casey DeSmith going to win you that game?
No.
No offense to him. He is on the NHL. He's on an NHL roster.
I think it got to the point where he was just out of answers.
He just wanted to throw darts at a wall and nothing stuck.
Well, yeah, because clearly the players weren't listening to his message. And, yeah, sometimes doing something that can be a spark. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, it's not like Ottinger was bad.
And then Casey DeSmith allowed 1 goal on 1 shot. Well, a goal on his first shot. I do want.
How funny would that have been if he just saw that and was like, Otter, get back in.
I think at that point that would be amusing.
Oh, at that point, just say we're done. We're not playing anymore.
Yeah. Online game. Yeah, we just quit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I want to ask you this. Obviously, Pete DeBoer got fired, but if he would have kept Jake Ottinger in, but they still would have been Western Conference Finals exits, did he still get fired either way?
Yeah, 2 years in a row, you got completely outcoached in the Western Conference Final.
Mm-hmm. And they're at their shot 2 years ago. They're up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, they got completely outclassed by the Oilers. Like Chris Knobloch, he's done that to several teams.
Mm-hmm. He's done it to pretty much every team he's faced.
The only guy who couldn't outsmart so far is Paul Maurice.
Yep.
And not many coaches can.
And he's went toe-to-toe with Paul Maurice each time.
Yes. Because you look at, especially this year, I would say with the playoffs with Edmonton, where they arguably had a worse roster when they made the Cup final 2 years ago. Knobloch is just so good at making adjustments throughout the series. He completely outcoached Hiller in LA. Completely, I wouldn't say he completely outclassed Vegas because I think Vegas did play. Edmonton just played really almost perfect disciplined hockey. None of them missed their assignments. Literally, the only reason they even lost a game is because Draisaitl fucking scored on himself.
Yes. Yes.
But that's the differences between like an elite coach and a good coach is like Peter DeBoer, because he's a good coach. He's been successful everywhere he's gone. He went to a Stanley Cup final with Dallas. He went to a Stanley Cup final with San Jose, with the New Jersey Devils. Has not won a Stanley Cup.
And the last 7 Western Conference Finals, he has been coaching in 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't been able to get over the hump at all. And I think it was time for Dallas to make a change, even if it's a first-time head coach or inexperienced head coach or whatever it is.
Well, even Vegas, he got him on deep playoff runs, and they couldn't get over the hump.
I think, he went to a Western Conference Final with Vegas.
Yeah, they lost to Montreal.
Yeah.
That was a shock. That was a shock.
Vegas was a heavy favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, Carey Price happened in that playoff run too, though.
But they just made so many mistakes. Like when Fleury scored on himself, essentially, where he just gave the puck away.
Yeah.
when
It's like,
Montreal was down by a goal and they had pulled their goalie.
just some mental mistakes the team was making.
I mean, some of it's players making mistakes, but you're failing to make adjustments to an inferior team.
Yep. I don't know. I do agree. I think Pete DeBoer would have gotten fired either way. All right, last but not least, feel-good story. Jonathan Toews is back in the NHL for the first time in 2 series. Obviously, probably a number 1 storyline. Like, I know he was last, but like, dude, Jonathan Toews, I know he's in his mid-30s already. He's playing for the Winnipeg Jets on a vet min.
He's going home. He's from Winnipeg.
But like, this feels a little bit like the Landy stuff where I just want to see him on the ice, man. Like, this feels great. This really does feel great.
I mean, I don't really have any expectations for him. He'll be like a good veteran presence, good locker room guy, former captain, arguably one of the best captains in modern NHL history.
Mm-hmm.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It's a feel-good story. Good to see him back.
It is. It feels good to see him back in. He had like some heart complication with COVID or something like that. That's why he slipped away.
Yeah, he had like long-term health issues from COVID, and he wanted to take some time off to like properly recover. And he must be feeling good now. So
yeah, obviously when he skated too, he must have felt pretty good that he could hang with the NHLers still. So, I think,
the Jets wouldn't have gave him a contract.
yeah,
They didn't think he could play.
I think I might be tuning into that first Winnipeg Jets game. Just kind of check it out, see how it is and everything. I don't even know when they're played. That's irrelevant. But yeah, either way though, storylines, that's excited or whatever. If you guys have any big or interesting storylines you guys want to share with us, we'll be happy to interact in the comments. Let us know down below as well. That's going to end it for today's episode. However, if you enjoy all of our content, subscribe, notification bell, as well as leave a like on this episode as well. New episodes are every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Go follow us on all of our socials for more content. We'll see you guys in our next episode.